Hello everybody and welcome back to the RORSRPS Season 2 Qualifier. My name is Preston Vieira and welcome to episode 15. Tonight we're finding ourselves two all-new Season 2 qualifiers. Remember, you can join in the tour placement voting process for this week's qualifiers by heading over to the RORSRPS Instagram this Saturday. That's at RORSRPS. Drop a follow and keep an eye on my story this weekend because every vote counts. As usual, please consider subscribing if you enjoyed tonight's event and want to keep up with the qualifiers or catch the soon-to-come Season 2 featuring 3 tours of chaos and a new larger total of 48 main field trucks. But here on YouTube, you're only getting half the RORSRPS experience. Don't forget to head over to Instagram this weekend and be the decision maker. Be the tiebreaker. An all-new benefit of being an RORSRPS fan is you can now go over to Dubby.gg and use a promo code RORSRPS to get 10% off your purchase. This is not for your first purchase. This is 10% off any purchase, anytime. And not only are Dubby Energy powders a clean source of energy, they also use zero sugar, artificial colors, and they're gluten-free. They even have some hydration options if you're not into energy drinks. And times are tough. If you're like me, spending $3 for a single drink can rack up fast. And with Dubby's powder base, you can mix your drinks at home, and they can end up costing about $1 or less per drink. So join the Dubby movement, get hydrated, get energized, support the RORSRPS channel, and take 10% off Dubby's wide range of flavors using code RORSRPS. Now let's finish finding our picks for our first event tonight. We'll be spinning both wheels here. No requests on this list aside from trucks that are returning, obviously. Infected, that's a brand new truck here on the track. Gravedigger 30, a werewolf node beam truck. We'll see if the Nampt will have a chance here and get faced off against a werewolf truck. VP Mad Scientist. First time we're seeing Mad Scientist here. The only truck to do a successful front flip in competition, or I would say a successful front flip at all. Landed and able to still drive the truck afterwards. Here's a look at our full lineup here. We're going to shuffle it 3 times, and then on our third shuffle, that will give us our matchups for our official round 1 bracket. Let's take a look at that here in just a second. Kicking us off for round 1, we got Boogie Van taking on Rizlone Defender, 2 trucks that have been around quite a few times now. Deja Vu taking on 106.7 the Fox. There's another one that's been around quite a few times. Max D Red is going to be taking on Full Bore. Sting with that cheetah body is going to be taking on that Incinerator Custom. Infected is going to take on VP Mad Scientist. Iron Man is going to face off against Super Mario. TMNT is going to take on Gravedigger, and Max D Gold will face off against Bigfoot to close out round 1. And we're getting things started here already as our first 2 trucks of the night are pulling up to that starting line. As I mentioned, both of these trucks have been here quite a few times. We'll see if either one of them can make it into Season 2 tonight. They've been trying hard and putting in some practice laps quite a few times here on this track. We'll see if all that practice and experience pays off as they're neck and neck over the first gap. Coming around our first turn of the night, Rizlone Defender kind of struggling to get that truck straightened out. It's Boogie Van with a very slight lead here in round 1, our first race of round 1. Boogie Van kind of clipping that pit of disqualification. Got to be careful. You can get grabbed and yanked right into it. Nobody's really had that happen yet, but judging by the way those trucks get yanked around when they clip it, it's a possibility. Boogie Van struggling to get up onto starting elevation, was crooked on that double roller section. Rizlone Defender grabbing an easy lead here. He might be able to hold it until the end. We'll see how it goes for him as he's the first one off the bridge tonight. Relatively nice transfer from Rizlone Defender. We'll see how Boogie Van does, getting crooked in the air, bouncing around and going down in the tunnel. Boogie Van might be done. I saw a smack on the chassis and he is unable to get back on all fours anyways, even if it weren't for that smack on the chassis. So Boogie Van down here in round 1. Rizlone Defender 1 step closer to making it into our next season. He was a substitute in Season 1, did well in Detroit, just unable to get the points he needed to be a World Finals qualifier. We'll see if he can get into the main field and get into the World Finals this time around. Nice big leap across the finish line from Rizlone Defender. He's on to round 2 tonight. We'll see him again soon. Next up on the track, Deja Vu coming out on your right. That namped version of this truck is probably not going to do too well. We'll see if he can make it to the finish line, or if 106.7 the Fox can make it out of round 1 for the first time of his 8 appearances here now. This is number 8 for 106.7 the Fox. Up and over the Jackrabbit, nicely done. Deja Vu getting a nice clean downside there. But he is going to have to come up short in the gap, of course, as these Namps trucks do. So that does slow him down and put him at a disadvantage once again. We'll see if he can keep a nice clean lap. I mean, Deja Vu is one of those Namps trucks that can throw down a solid lap. He can get to the finish line. He can, fulfill the lap and do a relatively solid time for a Namps truck. But compared to the V4s, the Namps trucks just don't have it in them. 106.7, the Fox, a big sky wheelie up onto starting elevation. See how Deja Vu does through the bridge here. Nice big leap from 106.7, the Fox once again. Doing solid this time around. If it weren't against a Namps truck, I would say he's, doing a relatively nice job compared to what he's done in the past. Keeping it relatively controlled, but going a little sideways there, almost hitting the wall, heading into the tunnel. Deja Vu nice and clean through the tunnel. Looking for the gap now. 106.7, the Fox going up a little short there. Going long to low through the gap. Deja Vu doing the same, really airing it out. Gets a rough hit on the nose, but keeps some momentum going through that gap section there. Yeah, Deja Vu is not going to do it. He's giving 106.7, the Fox, his first advancement into round 2. Finally, 15 episodes in, and one of our first trucks to be requested and show up on this on the qualifier. It finally gets past round 1. Deja Vu nearly getting into a lot of trouble there, nearly going over the nose off of the triple. Manages to save it and get it across the finish line. Deja Vu unable to get it done once again. We'll see if he can come back at some point and get lucky, move on to round 2. Max D coming out next, taking on Full Bore, 2 OG V4s here. I mean, not OG. This isn't 0.38 SMV4 pack, but this is, the golden days of Sim Monsters, I would say. These two came out, and we'll see how they do, taking each other on one-on-one here in round 1. Full Bore, a very slight lead on Max D, but we've seen these Mintz Willmans trucks really excel on this track. I mean, not every one of them is making it into the season 2 or anything like that, but they do well. They make it relatively far up into the bracket, and they always clear the gap for the most part on the bottom floor. So we'll see if he can do it here against Full Bore. With the lead that Full Bore has, he's going to need to clear that gap on the bottom floor. Getting crooked, almost going into the dumpsters there for Max D. Full Bore just expanding that lead as Max D struggles to keep that truck under control. Look at the sky wheelie, getting in trouble over the cars too. That is not going to help him here. He is just falling farther and farther behind Full Bore at this point. Full Bore looking for a transfer, relatively clean, gets a little bounce. Max D, not as much of a bounce, but not as clean of a landing either. So, I mean, it's kind of give and take there. Max D looking for the gap now. Full Bore going for it. Solid landing for Full Bore on the elevated turn, just coming up shy of a perfect landing for Max D. A great landing, just not the perfect ones that we're used to seeing from these Mintz Willmans. Max D too far behind to get anything done here. Full Bore around the final turn, over the triple and to the finish line. He is heading into round 2, knocking out that red Max D here in round 1. Man, Max D unable to get it done once again. We only have 1 spot left for Max D, so once we get our final Max D in, no more Max Ds in the qualifier. Same for Gravedigger. We only have 1 Gravedigger spot left open because we only have 3 tours. So once we get all 3 Gravediggers and all 3 Max Ds, no more Gravedigger or Max D qualifying. Sting coming out next on your right. He's going to be taking on Incinerator, that 2022 custom Incinerator, looking great over there on your left. We'll see who comes out on top here in round 1 as we launch off the starting line and over the step up. I hope you guys are having a great Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, Thursday night. I am right at 12 o'clock here recording this, so you know I'm a little all over the place, but this race is off to a great start for Incinerator. Sting trying to cut into the slalom here, but just unable to cut in. He was sliding a little bit there, struggling to get that truck pointed where he wants. Incinerator just holding the lead on Sting. Sting does make up a little bit of ground, but it's not enough to really make a huge difference yet. He is kind of near that sweet spot though, so if Incinerator makes a big mistake, Sting might be able to come back. Big sky wheelie from Incinerator. Didn't work out well for Max D, but it works out well for Incinerator. He holds that lead on Sting. Both of them through the bridge now and into the transfer. Oh, Incinerator clipped the cab on the roof of the tunnel, and down he goes. They are going to shut him off. I don't think they're going to. No, he's done. Sting heading to the gap here on the bottom floor, coming around that elevated turn and looking for the finish line now. He does it. Can he make it around this final turn clean and, stay on all fours to get across that finish line? He does. A great final turn for Sting. Over the triple he goes and on to the finish line. Sting into round 2 tonight. Nicely done. Big leap across that finish line. As I mentioned, that's one of my favorite things about this track is the big run up and the amount of air you can get launching over the finish line. That flying finish is, it's a typical monster truck thing, but I feel like it's so classic Monster Jam, flying over the cars, flying over the finish line. I love it. Infected coming out next, that NAMPS truck on your right, taking on VP Mad Scientist. Now, we already saw one NAMPS truck, so you do have some expectations of what you're going to see here from Infected. Well, taking on VP Mad Scientist, the V4 truck, I don't think it's going to happen for him, but we'll see how it goes here as he gets kind of crooked in this first straightaway. Boom, hard hit on that little hump in the gap on the first floor, and down he goes into the holographic crowd. He is done. Infected already down here on the first floor. VP Mad Scientist looking clean so far. Compared to what we've seen from other trucks tonight, I mean, he's right on par with the best that we've seen so far. Relatively nice downside on the double roller there. Coming around the turn on starting elevation, VP Mad Scientist wants into Season 2. He wasn't able to get qualified into Season 1, and I gave him quite a few shots. You guys weren't, there was no qualifying window being broadcasted, being published for Season 1. So this is a brand new thing for Season 2, but VP was there. He did make a few attempts. He was just unable to get in. We'll see if he can do it this time around as he's already through the rollers and looking for the gap here on the bottom floor. Gonna come up short in the gap. Big bounce, keeping it off the roof though. Nicely done. Sliding around that elevated turn beautifully through the chicane, nice and clean. A lot of trucks struggle there. They hit that launch ramp or they're out too wide through the straight. That was pretty perfect as far as a chicane goes. VP Mad Scientist, another great final turn over the triple and headed to the finish line tonight. He is on to round 2. Nice solid practice pass for VP. We'll see if he can do the same thing in round 2 and fend off an actual opponent. Someone that's here to compete, not just roll over on the first floor. Iron Man coming out next on your right. He is a werewolf node beam truck, and he'll be taking on Super Mario. We've seen Super Mario come out and absolutely destroy this truck about 3 times now, 4 times maybe. I don't know, man. Launching off that starting line doesn't look good for the werewolf facing off against this truck, but doesn't look good for Super Mario being on this track. He just does not have the track record of stability and control. Over the gap on the first floor, though, it is Super Mario in the lead, to be expected. Coming around the turn, though, we'll see if Iron Man can come back through the slalom. This is where these werewolf trucks excel. I mention it just about every episode, just in case there's someone new here and they don't know what to expect. These werewolf node beam trucks, they just have a lot of grip as compared to the V4s. Not necessarily opposed to, but compared to the V4s, they do have more grip. So we'll see. It doesn't necessarily help him too much here through the slalom. We'll see if he can come back on the bottom floor. Super Mario burning right through these cars on the bridge. Iron Man kind of slowing down there. I don't know what's going on. He needs to put the power down if he wants to come back. Super Mario going for the transfer. Beautifully done into the tunnel. Iron Man, not too bad himself. Little squirrely through the tunnel, though. Super Mario going for the gap. Can he land it without ending up in the fountain this time? Getting a little all over the place, but does keep it on all four BKT tires. Iron Man going long to low through the gap, making it around that elevated turn, but Super Mario is too far in the lead. He's around that final turn already and headed to the finish line. Iron Man just not gonna make it happen, not gonna make it stick this time around. Super Mario moves on to round 2. And Iron Man is done for our first bracket, and maybe he can come back for our next bracket or in one of these next couple shows, but Super Mario gets it done here in round 1. We got Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger 30 on your left, taking on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on your right. Now, of course, this is a Werewolf Node Beam Gravedigger 30, so we'll see if it can survive the race. We've seen quite a few Gravedigger Werewolf trucks go down early. Can Dennis's 30 stick around till the end? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this is a new version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Of course, not a new body, but a scheme that we haven't seen here before. And a chassis, even a chassis scheme combo here with that classic V4 body. The blue turtle here. Which one is it? Leonardo? I'm not good with the turtles. I know Raphael. That was my boy. And Mikey. But one of them two, one of the other two is here. Up and over the double roller here. Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger 30 getting right up onto starting elevation, putting up a fight here with Turtles. You would assume that the V4 would just blow the werewolf out of the water, but no, he's putting up a solid fight as we head up onto the bridge. He is starting to fall behind now, especially after clipping that center divide. But Turtles just grabbing the lead. It's just slight. It's not too big. And Gravedigger gets a better transfer into the tunnel as well. They're about dead even through the rollers. Can Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger hold it off? Turtles going for the leap. Comes up just shy of a solid landing on the elevated turn, but keeps some momentum. Gravedigger had to go long to low as the werewolves do and struggles through the elevated turn. It's not going to happen for Gravedigger unless there's a big slip from Turtles in this final turn. Yeah, no, he is out super wide, but so is Gravedigger, and he was too far behind in the first place. TMNT on to round 2, knocking out Gravedigger in round 1. Man, down goes that beautiful chrome Gravedigger. We got to get chrome Gravediggers back around in Monster Jam, man. I missed that. The chrome was a big thing in the early 2000s. They used it a lot. You know, Avenger and Max D, Gravedigger. They use chrome a lot. They don't use it too much nowadays. But next out on the track, we got Max D Gold coming out next on your right, taking on Bigfoot. We've seen this Bigfoot 2 times before. One of those times, he went down early on this first step up. He was in the red lane, but we'll see if he can keep it together here. Yes, he does. Max D, the one struggling now. Beautiful downside from both trucks, even though Max D was struggling. He is putting in the effort to get back up in the lead. Can he knock out Bigfoot here in round 1? Heading into the slalom, Max D doing a great job of making up ground, putting up a fight. Bigfoot sliding a lot. Losing traction does not help through the slalom. It keeps him out of the pit of disqualification in that instance specifically, but doesn't help him keep speed. Maintain speed through it. Max D grabs a lead as we head onto the bridge. Bigfoot fighting to grab the lead once again now. Uh-oh. And Bigfoot right into that center divide. That is one of those things that knocked out Gravedigger, that caused Gravedigger to fall behind. And it causes Bigfoot to fall behind here in our final race of round 1. Max D already onto the bottom floor and headed to the gap. Bigfoot through the rollers nice and clean. We'll see if he can make up some time here in the gap or heading into that final turn. Bigfoot a solid landing, but having to hit those brakes just causes him to end up with a stoppie. And yeah, I think that's it unless there's a big mistake from Max D, which I don't think there's going to be here in round one. Heading over the triple, Max D is looking for the finish line. Bigfoot is done in round one, and Max D is our final competitor, moving on to round two tonight. Nicely done, a great pass from Max D. Potentially one of our fastest. It felt smooth, it felt clean, aside from that mistake early on off of the step up. But Bigfoot done tonight. Let's take a look at our round two bracket here. Rizlone Defender is going to take on 106.7 the Fox. Full Bore is going to take on Sting. VP Mad Scientist is going to take on Super Mario, and TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, is going to be taking on Max D Gold to close out round two. Interesting couple of races. We got the trucks that have been here the most so far. Rizlone Defender and 106.7 the Fox coming out to take each other on once again in round two tonight. Who's going to make it on to round three? This would be 106.7's first time past round one, and if he were to make it up into the semifinals, that'd be amazing. But Rizlone Defender and him are off the line and heading down to the first floor. Rizlone Defender a slight lead here so far. Can 106.7 the Fox get that truck under control is the question. Around the first turn, not too smooth from 106.7 the Fox. Rizlone Defender looking pretty clean so far. Not having as many mistakes or, as big of mistakes as 106.7 the Fox is. Over the double roller. 106.7 the Fox getting crooked. That's going to slow him down there. Manages to get up onto starting elevation relatively clean, but that is something that could put you out if you get a sloppy landing on those double rollers. Rizlone Defender getting kicked up. Nicely done through the cars. Both of them struggling. 106.7 the Fox nearly falling off the bridge here. Just an easy win potentially for Rizlone Defender. We'll see if he can hold this lead. 106.7 the Fox I was going to say not doing too bad aside from his mistakes, but it's just been mistake after mistake this run. So, look at this. Even more struggling to keep that truck under control. Rizlone Defender is pretty much free and clear to grab a win here unless there's a 106.7 the Fox type mistake in this final turn, but I don't think that's going to happen. Coming around it, Rizlone Defender is heading to the triple and looking for the finish line now. He's on to our semifinals tonight. Can the Season 1 sub make it into Season 2? Looking for that main field position. This is not sub qualifying. Subs are just going to be kind of picked. So if you have any ideas for subs, I need 27 subs. If you have any ideas for subs you want to see in Season 2, leave them down in the comments. You might get picked. Your sub might get picked, and you might see them filling in for one of our main field trucks if they're the points loser. Next up on the track here, though, Full Bore is going to be taking on Sting. Both of these trucks did pretty well in round one, but if you got to lean towards one, I'm leaning towards Full Bore here. Just a lot more solid overall. This is his first attempt on this track, but from what we've seen and what we are seeing from Sting here getting in trouble on the Jackrabbit, Full Bore might just be a little too smooth for this track. Around the first turn now for Sting. Not a bad turn at all. Once he gets that truck where it's supposed to be at, he can do relatively well. But opposed to Full Bore here, he's just not getting it done yet. We'll see if he can get up near that sweet spot and capitalize on any mistakes Full Bore makes. But it's Sting who makes a big mistake here on the double roller. Gets tripped up and goes for a ride. And it's just adding more and more time onto his lap now. Full Bore may be free and clear to grab a win. We'll see how he handles the transfer and the bottom floor here. But Sting might be out. Look at the beautiful transfer from Full Bore. Nice. Sting looking for a transfer as well. Not as clean as Full Bore, but a great landing. And he's not going to be able to make up the time. It looks like Full Bore is just too far ahead. Already coming out of the chicane here on the bottom floor. Sting just now getting into the elevated turn. It's not going to happen for Sting tonight. Full Bore around the final turn and headed to the finish line. He's on to the semifinals tonight. Sting just unable to get it done. Too big of a mistake on that double roller section. If it weren't for that, he might have been able to at least get in that sweet spot. And, you know, there were no mistakes from full bore, but we wouldn't have known that at the time. If there were a mistake, he would have been right there to make do. You know what I mean? Do what he can. On to the next one, though. VP Mad Scientist coming out next on your right, taking on Super Mario. Again, Super Mario just needs to keep that truck under control in this pass. He's not a bad truck when it works for him. VP Mad Scientist, the same thing. He's not a bad truck. If he can keep his truck under control, that's not necessarily an issue we've seen from him. But if he can keep it under control the whole lap, he should have a solid pass as well. Super Mario coming up just short of the gap here on the first floor. We'll see if he can catch back up to VP Mad Scientist. He's not too far behind, just a little bobble heading into the first turn. Slows him down just a bit, puts him at a disadvantage for now, but he's still in that sweet spot. Mad Scientist, the first one to the double rollers. Solid downside, getting kicked a little all over the place, but not as much as Super Mario. Comes up short on the roller and on the jump up to starting elevation and gets kicked up onto the nose a little bit. Perfect landing there from VP Mad Scientist. Super Mario gets it done as well. A little slow through the bridge, though. That is going to hurt him just a little bit more. VP Mad Scientist getting a solid transfer. Super Mario as well. Little squirrely through the tunnel, though, so of course that is going to slow him down even more. VP Mad Scientist just expanding his lead here, heading to the gap on the bottom floor. Much better landing this time. Super Mario hard hit on the front end, trying to push that truck forward a little bit. I don't know if it would have been better for him to just brake check it and get the wheelie down. He's kind of in a catch-22 there. But coming around the turn for VP Mad Scientist, he is heading to the finish line, knocking out Super Mario in round 2. VP Mad Scientist is your next semifinal qualifier, or semifinal competitor. He didn't qualify for it. He earned his spot. But, yeah, he's going to be in the semifinals. That's the point. Super Mario, little stoppy of, stoppy of vengeance. I don't know. He's letting everybody know he'll be back at some point. Max D coming out next on your left. That gold Max D taking on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And this is going to be an interesting race here. I don't even know who I would call. We'll just have to watch and see how it goes. We're launching off the starting line and over the step up to finish out round 2. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles an early lead on Max D. Little slap wheelie, though, that slows him down and allows Max D to gain some ground in the air over the gap. Max D a lot cleaner through this first whole section that we've seen so far. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, just not huge mistakes, but mistakes that slow him down and, give Max D the lead that he has. Relatively nice downside from Max D. Solid from Turtles as well. Can Turtles make up the ground on Max D? Max D squirrely through both trucks, squirrely through the ski hill. We've never seen that. We've never had a single truck get squirrely, let alone 2 trucks in the same race. Getting a little loose there in the ski hill. Max D. Hard wreck. Turtles hits the chassis as well. Both trucks getting into huge trouble in the tunnel, but it's Turtles who comes out cleaner and is able to get the truck refired. I don't even know if they did shut him off. They might have missed the chassis hit there. It wasn't on the cab. It was on essentially the fuel tank there. But I don't know. They didn't shut him off. He's still running. And he's the only one running as he finishes out his sort of practice lap, nearly getting up on the sidewalls there. Heading over the triple, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles knocks out Max D thanks to a big mistake in the transfer. And he's on to the semifinals, grabbing that last spot in the semis tonight. Wow. Should be an interesting bracket here. Let's take a look at our semifinal bracket. As Turtles heads back up to starting elevation to get prepped for the next round. Rizlone Defender is going to be taking on Full Bore to get us started. And closing us out, it's VP Mad Scientist taking on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know. This first race here, Rizlone Defender versus Full Bore. Rizlone Defender going to be on your right, Full Bore on your left. This could be interesting. I don't know. Full Bore's looking really fast on this track tonight. Rizlone Defender, solid in general, has had a lot of experience. We'll see if that'll pay off for him here in the semifinals tonight. Heading over the Jackrabbit, about even. A big sky wheelie from Rizlone Defender, though, that slows him down on the landing. Full Bore, first one over the gap on the first floor here. Full Bore looks locked in here tonight. Beautifully done through the slalom and headed to the double roller. Rizlone Defender fighting to get up into that sweet spot. He's not too far off, but he's far enough to where I don't know if a mistake from Full Bore is going to make a difference. Rizlone Defender doing a great job of working his way back up, though, trying to get into that area. Ooh, little bobble from Full Bore. And that's what I'm talking about. That's the mistake that, it's not necessarily going to matter for Rizlone Defender as far as getting up into first. Rizlone Defender nearly getting into trouble with the side of the tunnel. Keeping it safe and keeping it running. But he is, slowed down once again. Another thing just slowing him down. Full Bore not the cleanest through the tunnel, though, which, keeps them about where they were locked in at this entire race so far. Around that elevated turn for both trucks. Full Bore too far in the lead for Rizlone Defender. Can Full Bore get a nice, clean final turn? Absolutely he can. He is locked in tonight. Up and over the triple. Full Bore is headed to the finish line. And over it he goes. Full Bore grabbing our first finals placement. He is into our final round, knocking out Rizlone Defender. Rizlone Defender unable to get it done once again, but it is okay. We'll most likely, at this rate, we'll most likely see him again in the next bracket here in just a few minutes. But we'll see how it goes. VP Mad Scientist coming out next on your right, taking on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is another one that, could go either way. VP has been cooking all night. TMNT kind of got lucky with Gold Max D getting into trouble in the tunnel, so we'll see how it goes if TMNT can fight off Mad Scientist. Both trucks airing it out over the gap. TMNT coming up short once again. Having to get that truck controlled before you get into that first turn is something that, slows you down and can give your opponent an early lead. And it seems to have worked for Mad Scientist, but only briefly, as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is making up ground in the slalom. Not too far behind. TMNT is in that perfect sweet spot right now. VP Mad Scientist and Turtles both get great launches up onto starting elevation. Up and onto the bridge. VP Mad Scientist smooth, but Turtles is fast. I don't know if that was a strategy or if it just worked out that way. Turtles hits the center divide and rolls the truck over. He does get a save, but no, down he goes in the tunnel. Turtles is down in the tunnel, and that might be, might have got a little bit of that Max D gold luck from last round. The VP Mad Scientist is already coming out of that elevated turn and looking for the finish line, a wheelie down the straightaway. Can he get a nice, clean final turn? Much needed practice pass here for Mad Scientist, not because he's a bad truck or is a bad racer, but because he's going up against Full Bore, who's been on kill all night long. We've seen him excelling on this track. If going into this final round, I am leaning towards Full Bore, but it could go either way. Both of these trucks are solid. We saw VP struggling a little bit here in the semifinals, but we just got to watch and see what happens here. Full Bore versus Mad Scientist in the final round of our first bracket. If you guys want more of this racing, don't worry. Stay tuned if you're new. In just a few minutes, right after this race, we got our second bracket coming up in the same video, so don't go anywhere. We got another bracket. We're going to find one more Season 2 qualifier. But in the finals, we're going green for Full Bore versus Mad Scientist. Nicely done. Both trucks, two different approaches, but beautifully done on both sides. Full Bore a little bit behind VP Mad Scientist. Can VP hold him off the entire race? That's the question. Full Bore, as I mentioned, he's been solid all night. I could be wrong here. I mean, Mad Scientist is killing it, heading through the slalom. But Full Bore was killing in the semifinals, and he's making up ground here in the finals. Nicely done. Grabbing a slight lead. VP a little bobble coming off of the double roller. Who is coming out on top? It is about neck and neck here. Heading into the ski hill. Full Bore, a very slight lead. Maybe a tire length. Down onto the first floor once again. Looking for a transfer into the tunnel. This is close right now. A close race. The closest we've had all night. VP Mad Scientist, a big slide coming out of the tunnel that slows him down a lot. Can he come back before the finish line? VP going long to low. Full Bore airing it out over the gap. I don't think it's going to happen for VP Mad Scientist. Full Bore out of the chicane first into the finish line, or to the final turn, I should say. Is there going to be a mistake? Ooh, clips that turning car, but that seemed to have helped him. Just a little bit, picking up that front rear, or that front right, that front right, letting the other tire spin him around a little bit, and Full Bore does it. First one over the finish line. That means that Full Bore is in Season 2. He is our next Season 2 qualifier, and what a night of racing. You know, not too long ago, I said that these first-time trucks, you can't put many expectations on them, but we've seen quite a few first-timers on this track come out and blow the competition out of the water. Full Bore, just another one. And if you want to vote for what tour Full Bore gets placed on this weekend, head over to the RORSRPS Instagram, because on Saturday I'll be hosting tour placement votes. It's we got 3 tours you can place in between the Biggest and Baddest Tour, the Indy Madness Tour, or the All-Star Challenge Tour, featuring Team Thunder versus Team Mayhem all season long. The biggest team battle we've ever seen. And yeah, one final look at Full Bore, our next Season 2 qualifier. Awesome looking truck. And a great racing truck. That was a great night of racing from Full Bore. We'll see him in Season 2 all season long. Let's get our next competitors out on the track, though. First Response is coming back. We saw him last episode. Jurassic Attack 2007. It's been a little while since we've seen that one. Sting is back once again. I think this time we went with the cheetah body. I misspoke before. El Repollo Loco is back. The cabbage. Max D of Werewolf Node Beam is here. We'll see if last time we saw him, he got all the way up into the final round. So we'll see if he can do it again, and this time get a Werewolf Node Beam truck qualified into Season 2. Party time. That NAMT truck is back once again. NAMT. So that's all I really have to say. Crazy Train coming out. And that yellow Max D as well, looking to throw down here. And he's a solid racer. He just is unable to get qualified yet. We got that Goldberg chassis pack, so that's going to be awesome. I'm not sure what version or what truck I used for that one, so we'll just have to watch and see. Jurassic Attack from, nowadays, the current Jurassic Attack is going to come hang out with us. Extended cab pack, so maybe we just got to watch and see. I'm not sure who I used for that, to be honest. Here's a full look at our lineup here for tonight's racing. I'm going to shuffle that up 3 times, and this lineup right here is our matchup lineup. Round 1 is going to be Crazy Train kicking us off, taking on Monster Mutt Dalmatian. Party Time is going to face off against Nitro Circus. That's who I used for the extended cab pack. Jurassic Attack is going to take on First Response. Sting is going to face off against the current Jurassic Attack. Bustin' Loose is going to take on Max D, the Werewolf Node Beam version. Hot Wheels is going to take on Screamin' Evil. Velociraptor will face off against Max D Yellow. And Goldberg will take on El Repollo Loco. Now, Goldberg is the Goldberg chassis pack, 1 and 2 chassis pack. So we'll see how he does on this track, that, you know, classic Goldberg truck. But we're getting things started with Crazy Train versus Monster Mutt Dalmatian, and we're going green. Into our second round 1 of the night. Big leap from both of these drivers. Nicely done. Crazy Train gets a nice clean landing. So does Monster Mutt. Dalmatian's just falling behind a little bit at the moment. Keeping it off the dumpsters, which is nice, but that hurts her time big time. Struggling in turn 1. Manages to get it back down on all 4 BKTs, but it is not happening for her yet. We'll see if Crazy Train can make a big mistake, or if Dalmatian, you know, is out for the entire bracket. I hope not. We only got 1 mutt in season 2. We need another one. Crazy Train coming around the turn on starting elevation. Monster Mutt coming up short just a little bit, trying to get up onto starting elevation. She makes it up, but struggles to get there. Crazy Train has been here before. I believe he was out in round 1 last time we saw him. It looks like he's making it past round 1 this time with a pretty solid transfer. But trying to keep it off the wall. He spins that truck around. Monster Mutt has a shot to come back, but it's not going to happen. Not going to happen for Monster Mutt here. We'll see if Crazy Train makes a mistake over the gap. Hard hit on the front end. Monster Mutt going long to low, giving Crazy Train that time to come back and recover from that hit. And Crazy Train is headed to the final turn here in round 1. It doesn't look like Monster Mutt Dalmatian is going to get it done. No. Crazy Train, first one through the final turn, over the triple and to the finish line. He is into round 2 tonight, knocking out Dalmatian in round 1. Man, unfortunate break. That Dalmatian truck is just struggling to get that truck, you know, through to the finish line. I mean, almost every time she's here, she struggles. Whether it be round 1, round 2, she just has a hard time on this track, and it's understandable. It's a tough track, but I'd love to see her in season 2. It's just not happening for her. Nitro Circus coming out next on your right, taking on that Namped truck. Party Time. Let's go racing. Off of the line and over the step up. Huge sky wheelie for Party Time. Nitro Circus, nice and clean, at least in that first part. Now they're about neck and neck, but Nitro Circus is the only one that can even get close to clearing the gap here. Party Time having to go long to low there in the first gap. We'll see if he can at least keep it under control. One of the last times we saw Party Time, he ended up upside down on the bridge section. He clipped the cars a little too hard, and it sent him backwards onto the lid. Nitro Circus pretty clean through the slalom. Party Time struggling to keep it off the column there. Nitro Circus crooked. He's going to have to get that truck realigned. Party Time gets a free pass onto starting elevation first. But Nitro Circus is a V4 truck. He's managing to, you know, use his time wisely. He's not doing too bad on that starting elevation section. Looking to get back into the lead against Party Time. Can he do it? I don't know. It might take until the triple, if I'm being honest, because Party Time is just... Oh! Party Time clips the tunnel. Trying to get back on the power, but he just doesn't have it compared to Nitro Circus. Nitro Circus already in that sweet spot, essentially. Party Time through the gap, long to low. Nitro Circus gives him a shot, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's about dead even through the elevated turn. Both trucks struggling in their own way. It is neck and neck. Nitro Circus out all over the place. Can Party Time do it? Around that final turn, a big slide. No, I don't think so. He's going to go long to low. Nitro Circus clearing the triple, and Nitro Circus is on to round 2 in a wild race there. Definitely not the way I thought that was going to go. I did not expect them to be trading places quite so much, or, you know, in such a close fight there. Nitro Circus on to the next one. Party Time done here in round 1. Next out on the track, Jurassic Attack, the OG Jurassic Attack from 2007, taking on First Response. We've seen first response a couple times recently. We'll see if he can do it this time around. Seems like they got the gearing under control. That gearing was fighting him, similar to Max D Yellow's gearing. Speaking of Max D Yellow, we're going to see him in just a little bit here. Big sky wheelie from Jurassic Attack. That hurts him early on in this race. First response, a nice early lead. Jurassic Attack just trying to get that truck under control here in the first straightaway. Not doing too well so far. Looking solid through the slalom. Jurassic Attack does have a smaller wheelbase than first response, so maybe that helps him gain a little bit of ground. Yeah, no. Oh, man. That hurts to see. I love this classic Jurassic Attack body, but seeing him struggle in this first floor is killing me a little bit. First response, just absolutely clearing him on the first floor. He's going to look for a transfer here into the tunnel. Solid, kind of getting squirrely. Keeps it relatively clean through the tunnel, though. I mean, just taps the wall. Jurassic Attack is all over the place, trying to get down onto the first floor once again. Safe to say it's not going to happen for Jurassic Attack. We'll see if first response ends up upside down, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen at this point. Jurassic Attack all over the place. One of the wildest passes we've seen. A lot of wheelies and flips and spins, but as far as the win goes, not going to happen. First response over the triple and to the finish line. He moves on to round 2, knocking out Jurassic Attack in round 1. Jurassic Attack finally getting around that final turn. Can he make it to the finish line? I hope so. Kind of getting tripped up there, but keeps it on all fours, and over the finish line he goes. Jurassic Attack back into the hauler. Man, that's depressing. We'll see if current Jurassic Attack can do a little bit better. We got that cheetah body Sting on your right, taking on the current version of Jurassic Attack. Can Jurassic Attack do it here in the second bracket? And his, Jurassic Attack team, their second race of the second bracket. Nicely done. Both trucks getting it done over the step up. Jurassic Attack cleaner so far. Can Jurassic Attack redeem his fallen brother? We'll see how it goes here. Nice lead in the first turn. Sting not doing too bad. Near that sweet spot. He just needs to stick with it, not make any big mistakes. Ooh, big mistake from Jurassic Attack. That gives Sting the lead here heading through the double roller. And it's neck and neck up onto starting elevation. Onto the bridge. Sting getting in trouble with the cars. Can he save it? He does, but now he's in a world of trouble. Trying to get that truck realigned. Oh, he's going reverse. Off the bridge. I mean, if that was a breakable, he might have snapped a tie rod, but it's not. It's a V4, so he's still running. Too far behind at this point to take a win. Gonna bounce off the wall in the tunnel as well. Jurassic Attack coming around the elevated turn with the lead, looking for the finish line now. Oh my goodness, I totally missed it. Sting going for a wild ride. He is done. They're gonna have to go check on him, make sure he's good to go to get that truck back up to starting elevation. But Jurassic Attack is over the finish line and on to round 2. He does it. He avenges the fallen OG Jurassic Attack, managing to, keep the Jurassic Attack name clean. He's on to round 2. Didn't fail in the first round. Now we got the OG Bustin' Loose on your right. We just saw the MTP replica custom version of Bustin' Loose last episode, and he's taking on Max D Werewolf Node Beam here in round 1. We'll see if Bustin' Loose can do it. Something interesting about that Bustin' Loose, it's a manual rear steer, whereas usually they're self-centering. You know, you're controlling the rear steer, but it's self-centers. You gotta center this one by yourself. So we'll see if he can hold up. He's not doing too well of that so far, taking on that Werewolf Node Beam Max D. And through the slalom, I mean, it could be a place where Bustin' Loose might excel, but compared to that Werewolf Node Beam Max D, it's not going to happen. Werewolf Node Beam Max D there on your left is one of the only trucks to have made it into the final round as a Werewolf truck. I don't even know if there was another Werewolf, if I'm being honest, to do that. Max D may be the only one, and he's doing well here in round one. He's looking to do it again and become the only Werewolf truck so far to make it into Season 2, and he would lock out all other Max Ds from attempting if he does make it. Bustin' Loose, getting into trouble in the tunnel. Looked like they shut him off there for a second, but let him refire. Max D just holding that lead on Bustin' Loose. And Bustin' Loose is struggling right now. Taking it nice and easy. Looks a little top heavy through the elevated turn. Taking it nice and easy through there. Max D around the final turn and looking for the finish line. Bustin' Loose is done here in round one. Not too bad. Looks like he's going to get across the finish line. And, you know, for having to manually center that rear steer, not too bad. Not too bad of a pass. Both trucks over the finish line, though. We're going to be moving on. Hot Wheels is the truck from that Mentz chassis pack on your right. And Screamin' Evil is on your left, looking to take a win. We'll see how it goes here as we launch off of the starting line and up and over the step up. And I don't remember if it was a Mentz chassis pack or if it was a Willman V1. I think it might be Willman V1. But either way, he's the truck from that pack. Oh my goodness! What a way to blow it in the first straightaway for Screamin' Evil. Flat tire on the left. We'll see if that thing will reinflate. He's struggling to get it turned. Almost goes straight into the pit of disqualification. Hot Wheels looking good here in the first. Oh! Man, Screamin' Evil. Big slide. Nearly goes right into that pit of disqualification. Hot Wheels looking good on the first floor. Heading down onto the bridge already. Screamin' Evil just now getting up onto starting elevation with a big leap. Nicely done. Clips the dumpster coming around that starting elevation turn as well. Hot Wheels looking for a transfer. Beautiful transfer. Screamin' Evil getting in trouble on the bridge, and down he goes on that center divide. It's not going to happen for Screamin' Evil this time around. Just a rough pass from the start, really. Hot Wheels coming around that elevated turn and looking for the finish line now. Yeah, another Willman truck. Of course, they are going to do well in that elevated turn. The gap leading to the elevated turn. They can get a nice, clean landing on the other side if they just go for it. I missed if it was along the low or if he tried to clear it. But either way, he made it through the lap. On to round two for Hot Wheels here in our second bracket. See how he does next round. Hopefully well. I mean, he has the opportunity to get a perfect landing. If the competition is there, we'll see if it is. Velociraptor coming out next on your right, taking on Max D Yellow. This is going to be an interesting race here. We have not seen Velociraptor run on this channel, and this is the first time I've seen Velociraptor run. So, oh no, we saw him once before on here, I believe, on the Spin Master qualifier. I'll have to check the spreadsheet. I could be wrong. Speaking of the spreadsheet, if you want to see some light stats from all the qualifying episodes that we've had so far, all of our qualifiers, I do have some stats. I got like how many times they've been here, if they've made it to the finals before, how many times, like a win-to-loss ratio, and a, if they qualified or not. Just some light stats, something fun. I'm keeping track, so check the description. If you check the description, you'll also find a link to Dubby.gg. Head over there for 10% off with the RORSRPS coupon code for some energy powder. I'm looking forward to getting my first box of that stuff soon. I'll make a little, oh! I'll make a little taste test video. Velociraptor in trouble on the bridge, manages to get it straightened out, but Max D Yellow is in the lead, looking for a transfer already. Velociraptor, nice, relatively clean, getting into the tunnel. Is Max D gonna hold that lead the entire time? It looks good for him as he is the only one heading through the gap so far. Max D in trouble, down he goes. And gets on top of those cars, which means he is shut off. Even if he got back on those BKTs, they would not let him refire. It is a safety issue. So he is done. Velociraptor coming around this final turn, miraculously able to move on to round 2 as he heads over the triple and to the finish line. Velociraptor on to the next one. What a comeback story here in round 1 for Velociraptor. I did not expect him to be able to come back. Down he goes there off of that little speed bump, trying to show off some two-wheel skills. He goes down. And on to the next race here. Goldberg on your right, taking on El Repollo Loco. That crazy cabbage on your left. Ready to go for our final race of round 1. Launching off the starting line. Who's going to take it? If Goldberg were to win tonight, he would count as our 3rd and final Max D team truck. So no more Max D and no more Goldberg after he would be qualified. I don't know if it's going to happen. We're going to have to watch and see. But if it's him, no more Max Ds after this one. We got all 3 team Max D trucks. Right now, it's El Repollo Loco in the lead. They're not too far apart. Goldberg seems to be in that sweet spot at the moment. But, well, we got to keep watching. Goldberg with a beautiful downside on the double roller. Nice launch up onto starting elevation. Really putting in the effort to try and get back up and into contention for the lead. Nicely done. Gets kicked onto the nose, but doesn't let it affect him too much. Does slow him down a little bit, as it would, but, you know, he's still running, still giving it some effort. Gonna struggle in the tunnel, though. Oh, so does El Repollo Loco. What a save. What a save from El Repollo Loco, managing to get it back down onto all fours. A beautiful leap and bounces off the cars. That is okay. I mean, not to get super technical about the car hits, but, you know, getting on top of it is where things get you into trouble. Goldberg manages to end up in that sweet spot that I was talking about and manages to come back with El Repollo Loco's mess up there in the elevated turn. Goldberg over the finish line first. Both trucks make it, but it is Goldberg who grabs the final spot in round 2. Nicely done. Way to stick it out and just keep running your race. Just do you. That's all you got to do. Beautiful stoppy. Ooh, nice little wheelie combo on the end of it too. But it's Goldberg who's into the next round. Let's take a look at that next round bracket here. Crazy Train taking on Nitro Circus to get us started. First Response is going to face off against that Jurassic Attack truck. Max D, Werewolf No Beam, is going to take on Hot Wheels. Now that is going to be an interesting race for sure. And Velociraptor is going to close out round 2, taking on Goldberg. This is an exciting second round bracket here. I mean, Crazy Train might be the easiest one to call. The rest of the races could go either way, from what we've seen so far tonight at least. Getting ready to go. Crazy Train on your right, Nitro Circus on your left. Both of them launching off of that starting line. And it's Crazy Train with an early lead off the line. Little sloppy on the landing, but Nitro Circus is not super clean either. Takes a rollover kind of approach to the Jackrabbit. Around the turn, Nitro Circus is in a fighting spot right now. He might be able to throw down a solid pass. What is going on here? Gets it done, gets through it. He's keeping up. Oh, struggling there. Both trucks struggle. Nitro Circus worse off though, and he's going down. Yeah, down off of the starting elevation launch ramp. He is done on his lid. down on the first floor. Crazy Train gets a free pass into round 2. He's going to get himself a practice pass here, looking for a transfer into the tunnel. Beautifully done. Looking for the gap for Crazy Train. Can he get it done? He does. He goes for it. Bit of a rough hit on the front end, but gets some nice momentum through it. Gets through it fast. Recovers well. And heading into the final turn now, Crazy Train is on to the semifinals. Wow, what a turn. Interesting approach. We haven't seen many approaches like that, and Crazy Train might be able to bring that back for the semifinals if he remembers his strategy here, or attempts it again at least. Yeah, on to the semifinals for Crazy Train. Next out on the track, First Response taking on Jurassic Attack. Now Jurassic Attack was able to save his namesake in the last round. Can he keep it running for the semifinals? We'll see. Or will First Response be able to come back here? It's close off the line and headed to the Jackrabbit. Jurassic Attack a very slight lead. Both of them sloppy on the landing though. First Response coming up short on the landing here in that first gap on the first floor. Trying to get back up into that sweet spot. He's not far behind Jurassic Attack at this point. Can he stay there? Both of them getting solid downsides on the double roller. Man, this is a pretty solid race so far. I mean, First Response is behind. Jurassic Attack has held this lead the entire time, but it's not that great of a lead. He can make one big mistake, and First Response would be right there to grab, the first place spot. Oh, there's a mistake right there from Jurassic Attack. Not big enough for First Response to get right there with him, but he's not far behind. Another mistake similar to that, and First Response could catch up. I don't know anymore. After that mistake from First Response, manages to save it and get it on all fours, but that slowed him down big time. Jurassic Attack around that final turn. First Response, a sloppy one all over the turning cars, and he is going to come up short on the triple as well. He is done. Jurassic Attack on to the next round. Grabs our second spot in the semifinals. What a race from Jurassic Attack. Keeping it, he had his downfalls, had his mistakes, but kept that lead the entire time. First Response, unable to get it done. Max D coming out next on your right, that werewolf node being breakable Max D. And Hot Wheels on your left, of course, a V4 with that Willman chassis. We'll see if he'll put that to use on the gap in the bottom floor here in just a minute, but we're going green. Big leaps off the starting step up there. Pretty neck and neck. For a werewolf truck, he's not far behind Hot Wheels, but a bobble on the Jackrabbit lets him fall even farther behind. Not by much, though. Just farther behind than he already was. Heading into the slalom. This is where that werewolf truck has a lot of grip. Hot Wheels, no stranger to the slalom. We'll see if he can throw down here and hold his lead. He does. Not by much, but he does. Max D catching up as we head onto starting elevation. What a turn from Hot Wheels. Max D struggling in the turn, so he loses ground once again. Will he be able to come back at some point? Down onto the first floor, looking for a transfer for Hot Wheels. Comes up just short of a really great transfer. Max D, nice and clean and solid through the tunnel. Not making up much ground, though. Hot Wheels, is he going to go for the gap? No, he's crooked. Oh, he's going for it anyways. Beautiful landing. Hot Wheels getting close. Oh, no, does spin out. Going to cut that turn a little bit. I don't think it would matter even if he didn't cut the turn. I think he would be too far ahead. But heading around that final turn for Hot Wheels. Beautiful final turn at that. Same for Max D though, but not enough to take the lead from Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels is on to the semifinals tonight. What a pass, and look at this. Works on his maximum slap wheelie there. Or slap stoppy. Nicely done. Both of them. Solid passes. Just not enough from Max D this time to grab and hold the lead. On to the next race. Velociraptor is going to be taking on Goldberg to close out round 2. This could be an interesting race. I have no pick here. It could go either way from what we saw from Goldberg last time around. And from what we saw from Velociraptor, to be fair. Up and over the Jackrabbit. Max D with a Goldberg, excuse me, with a cleaner landing there. And a cleaner landing on the gap on the first floor as well. Goldberg could be locked in tonight. I don't know. Getting hiked up on one wheel up in the air, hitting a 3-wheel motion on Velociraptor through the slalom. Looking for the double roller. Can he get a nice clean landing? No, he overshoots it. That is going to hurt him just a bit. Velociraptor overshoots it as well. Goldberg goes down. Oh my goodness. What a way to go down here in the second round. Velociraptor much better up onto the bridge this time around. Just holding on to it, not giving it up. And he ends up back in the lead this time around. Solid transfer. Hopefully he can bring that into the semifinals. I don't know. Just got to watch and see, but Velociraptor looks like he's going to do it. Just short of a solid landing there in the elevated turn. Velociraptor looking good on the bottom floor for sure. Again, out a little wide in that final turn. Doesn't matter though, just a practice lap at this point. Hopefully he can get that under control and get a dyno into season 2. That'd be pretty tight. Ooh, nice little slap wheelie from Velociraptor. He is on to the semifinals tonight. And speaking of, little celebration donut, unable to get it all the way around, full rotation. But that doesn't matter. On to the semifinals. Crazy Train is going to be taking on Jurassic Attack, and Hot Wheels will face off against Velociraptor. 2 dynos in the semifinals. Can we get dyno versus dyno for the final round? Let's find out. Crazy Train been for round 2 he was pretty solid. Round 1 he wasn't the cleanest. Jurassic Attack on the other hand, solid both laps in round 1 and in the second round. So hopefully he can continue that consistency here in round 1, the semifinal, excuse me. Over the Jackrabbit, dead even right now. Looks like a mirror down the center of the screen with how they're taking that Jackrabbit. Crazy Train is the one in trouble though, coming up real crooked on the landing of the gap on the first floor. Jurassic Attack holding a lead on Crazy Train right now. Can he hold it until the end? Heading over the double roller for Jurassic Attack. Beautiful downside. Crazy Train not too bad himself, but not in the lead. Not yet, at least. He's making up ground on Jurassic Attack and really trying to get up into that sweet spot. Ooh, a hard hit on the chassis over the cars. Struggling in that center divide on the bridge. Jurassic Attack is squirrely, but it doesn't matter because Crazy Train is in trouble. Jurassic Attack struggling through the tunnel as well. Crazy Train. Man, these two are all over the place here in the semifinals. I don't know if Jurassic Attack is going to be able to hold it with the way he's driving right now. Crazy Train. Yeah, no. Jurassic Attack has it. Never mind. Excuse me. Jurassic Attack out of the chicane and headed to the final turn. It's all Jurassic Attack heading around. Oh, a bit slippery. Oh, no. Jurassic Attack. Down he goes. Crazy Train is free and clear coming out of the final turn to grab a win. And down goes Jurassic Attack in the semifinals. There goes my hopes of Dino versus Dino. Man, Crazy Train on to the finals tonight. Solid pass. Well, I take that back. Excuse me. Congratulations is in order for sure, but definitely not a great pass from either one of those trucks that time around. Hot Wheels coming out next on your right, taking on Velociraptor. Now, Hot Wheels has the advantage of being able to get a perfect landing on the bottom floor gap. Will he put it to use, and will it matter is the question. Both trucks airing it out over the step up. It's Hot Wheels with a very slight lead heading into the Jackrabbit. Both of them getting beautiful landings though. Velociraptor right in the sweet spot right now. And he puts it to good use. Hot Wheels, a bit of a sloppy landing, puts him at a disadvantage at this point. Very slight, but he is behind Velociraptor heading through the slalom. Oh, Hot Wheels in trouble. Sets it back down on all fours, but that slows him down even more. Gets a beautiful landing on the downside of the double roller though. Oh, are you kidding me? Hot Wheels, a struggle in the starting elevation turn. One of the easiest turns of this track, and he bobbles it, and even more struggle coming across the cars in the bridge. Doesn't look like it's going to happen for Hot Wheels this time around. Velociraptor too far in the lead for him to do anything at this point. We'll see if clearing the gap makes a difference here. Hot Wheels overshoots. No! Hot Wheels going to have to go long to low. He overshoots that final roller in the straightaway on the bottom floor. And if you overshoot the roller, you might as well go long to low. You're not going to make the full gap. So Velociraptor around that final turn and into the finals. It's Crazy Train versus Velociraptor in the final round. Wow. What a couple of races for the semifinals. Very eventful. I mean, especially the Crazy Train Jurassic Attack pass. But, I mean, Hot Wheels all over the place this time around. Unable to get a nice, clean pass. And he was putting him down in the other rounds. So I don't know what happened here. Just maybe the pressure got to him of, you know, wanting to be in Season 2 so bad. But unable to get it done. Crazy Train coming out in the finals, taking on Velociraptor. Crazy Train is going to be on your right, Velociraptor on your left, and here come your final round opponents, your final race of the night. Both trucks heading to that starting line, staged and ready to go. We're going green for your final round of racing. Over the step up, Crazy Train using that rollover technique to guide those back tires down the step-up ramp. Velociraptor a little all over the place in this first straightaway. Can Crazy Train hold it together this lap? He's in the lead right now. If he can put down a solid lap, he might be able to hold this lead on Velociraptor the entire time. Velociraptor definitely the more solid between the two from what we've seen tonight. Could very well be Velociraptor, but at this point, he's just too far behind. Both trucks get great downsides on the double roller as well. Beautiful turn from Crazy Train, nice and tight, slides right into that slot, heading down the ski hill. Crazy Train a little bobble. Velociraptor as well, getting over the cars in the bridge. Oh, another bobble from Velociraptor. Crazy Train not the cleanest. Velociraptor making a good effort to get back up there, though. He's not too far behind. I don't know if he's in the sweet spot, though. Hard hit for Crazy Train. It looks like he was in the sweet spot. Nearly a perfect landing from Velociraptor. It is a tight race coming out of the chicane. Neck and neck. Velociraptor a very slight lead. Crazy Train is out wide, though. So that puts him at a disadvantage coming around this final turn. It is going to be Velociraptor who comes out first. He's over the triple and headed to the finish line. Velociraptor is your next Season 2 qualifier. What a night of racing as a whole, but this second bracket was awesome as well. Velociraptor killing it the entire night. Of course, he did struggle in round 1, but improved in round 2, did well in the semis, and here in the finals, he killed it. Coming back on Crazy Train. If you want to place your tour placement votes for Velociraptor, head over to the ROR SRPS Instagram. This Saturday on my story, we'll be hosting tour placement votes. We got the biggest and baddest tour, the All-Star Challenge Tour with Team Thunder versus Team Mayhem all season long, and the Indie Madness Tour. There's going to be a lot of fun for Season 2, so subscribe, stick around. Do not miss our second season of ROR SRPS because it can only get bigger and better from this. This is just the qualifying window. We got racing and freestyle all season long leading up to the World Finals. But thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. We had a great night of racing. I had fun. I hope you did as well. Leave a like for me. Subscribe if you enjoyed. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget about that 10% off on Dubby.gg with code RORSRPS. I'll see you tomorrow with our last show of the week.